Hey everyone and welcome back. Today we're diving into something a little different.
Different how?
Winter's coming and most folks are thinking about getting their homes ready for the cold,
Right.
but we're going to tackle something else that needs that same kind of pre-winter attention.
Pools.
Pools.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah, and it's more than just, throwing a tarp over it. Did you know that a concrete pool can lose heat incredibly fast? Like, it's not
hmm
just frozen pipes we're worried about here, but a whole lot of lost energy.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And potential damage, too.
Right.
It's kind of like how we winterize our homes.
Yeah,
Pools need that same attention to detail. We got to think about those essential components, pumps, filters, heaters.
right. The heart and lungs of the pool.
Exactly. And protecting those, especially in winter when the pool's not in use, can really save you a ton of headaches down the road.
Okay, so then let's break down the why here. Why is this protection so crucial? I mean, it can't just be about avoiding a few frozen pipes.
No, not at all. Think of it this way. You wouldn't leave your car engine exposed to the elements all winter long.
Right.
Same principle applies to your pool equipment.
Okay.
First off, those temperature swings, going from cold to maybe a bit warmer than back to freezing, they can really stress those components,
Mhm.
and that leads to breakdowns and potentially some pretty costly repairs.
We're talking big bucks here.
Oh, yeah, hundreds, even thousands of dollars in some cases.
Ouch, okay. Yeah, that's a good reason to pay attention.
Right. And then there's the energy efficiency angle.
Okay.
When your equipment's all properly insulated, it doesn't have to work as hard to maintain the right temperatures.
Saves energy.
Exactly. And that translates to real savings on your energy bills.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
Less money out of my pocket. I like that.
Could be a reduction of 20% or more depending on your setup and your climate.
Wow.
And there's one more big benefit we gotta mention.
Okay, lay it on me. What else?
This one's all about extending your pool enjoyment. Yeah, good insulation can actually help you stretch that swim season a bit longer,
Squeeze in a few more weeks?
maybe even a whole month, just by having the right insulation in place. Imagine swimming into the fall.
Okay, you've sold me on the why. Now, how do we actually do it? What are our options when it comes to insulating those essential pool components?
Well, there are a few choices out there, and each has its own pros and cons.
Okay.
Let's start with foam board insulation. It's a popular one because it creates a really tight seal, almost like wrapping your equipment in a warm coat.
So is this something like a homeowner could maybe tackle themselves?
Oh, you definitely could.
What kind of skills are we talking here?
If you're comfortable with, basic DIY projects and you've got the right tools, it's definitely manageable.
Okay,
Main thing with foam board is making sure you get a complete airtight seal.
I see.
Don't want any of that precious heat escaping.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And what about cost? Is foam board a budget-friendly option?
Well, it can be a bit pricier than other options, that's true.
Gotcha, okay. Now, what about solar covers? I've heard those can help with heating the pool, so are those a good option for winter protection too?
So solar covers are awesome for harnessing the sun's energy to warm up the pool water.
Right, during the swimming season.
Exactly. They're easy to put on, easy to take off.
Right.
They can definitely extend your swim time, especially in those milder climates.
Ah,
But when it comes to really insulating against those freezing winter temps, they might not be enough, especially in colder regions.
so they're good for maybe spring and fall, but not for those really harsh winters.
You got it.
Okay,
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, I know there are also those basic vinyl covers. What about those? Are those a good option for winter?
Vinyl covers are definitely a more affordable, kind of basic option.
Okay.
Think of them like a shield against leaves and debris and stuff.
Right.
They offer some protection for sure, but they're not really designed for serious insulation.
I see.
In colder climates, they might not be enough to prevent freezing.
Okay.
It really depends on your location and how harsh your winters get.
So it sounds like it's all about choosing the right tool for the job.
Exactly.
The right tool for the job.
Figuring out your climate and how much protection you really need.
Okay.
And this is where things get really interesting.
Interesting how?
We've talked about insulating the equipment, but you can also insulate the pool itself.
Insulate the pool itself?
Yep. The water surface and even the structure of the pool.
Hold on. How do you insulate the water itself?
Well, you can create a barrier on the surface to reduce evaporation and heat loss.
Okay.
And get this, something as simple as pool noodles can do the trick.
Pool noodles.
Seriously.
I'm not kidding. They float on the surface, act as a barrier, slow down evaporation.
Wow.
Helps to keep that heat in the water.
Yeah.
It's actually a surprisingly effective solution and pretty affordable too.
That's brilliant. So simple, but so smart.
Right.
So we can tackle the water surface. What about the pool structure? Can you actually insulate the walls and the floor of a pool?
You absolutely can. If you're building a new pool, insulated concrete forms, or ICFs, are a fantastic option. Okay, what are those?
Basically, they're a layer of insulation, kind of like a warm blanket, sandwiched between two sturdy layers of concrete.
So you're building the insulation right into the walls.
Yeah.
And how effective are they?
Incredibly effective. You're basically wrapping your whole pool in insulation.
Wow,
And that can reduce your energy costs for heating the pool by like 50 to 60% compared to a traditional concrete pool.
that's a huge difference.
Oh.
Okay, so that's for new pools. What about if you've already got a pool? Are there options for insulating an existing pool?
You and look, there is. Spray foam insulation can be applied directly to those walls and the floor of your existing pool.
Okay, spray foam, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's super effective insulator, but it can be a bit pricey.
Okay.
It's an investment, but the long-term energy savings could make it worthwhile.
Right, and then you're saving money in the long run.
Exactly. Oh, and don't forget about the soil around your pool. Insulating that area can also help prevent heat loss from the sides and the bottom.
So it's like creating this whole warm cocoon for your pool.
You got it. Now, speaking of keeping things from freezing, we can't forget about the plumbing.
Yeah, frozen pipes, nobody wants to deal with that.
Definitely not. But luckily, it's easily avoidable with proper insulation. We'll get into that next time.
Okay, so we've talked about insulating the pool equipment and even the pool itself, but now let's get to that other essential winter prep task.
Winterizing.
Winterizing, yes. And I have to admit, the term always sounds a bit vague to me.
I know what you mean, like a magic spell or something.
Right. So what exactly are we doing when we're winterizing a pool?
It's really a series of practical steps
Okay.
to prepare your pool's plumbing for those freezing temps.
Right, so we're getting the plumbing ready for winter.
Exactly. You're basically putting it into hibernation.
So what are the key steps involved in this whole hibernation process?
First, you want to balance the water chemistry.
Okay.
So that means adjusting the pH, the alkalinity, calcium hardness levels.
Okay, so we're making sure the water is chemically balanced.
Right. It's not just about preventing the water from freezing, but also protecting your pool surfaces and equipment from damage.
Okay.
Damage that can be caused by imbalanced chemicals during the off-season.
So it's like giving the pool a final tune-up before its long winter's nap.
Exactly. Next, you want to lower the water level below the skimmer.
And why is that important?
Well, if water freezes inside the skimmer,
Right.
it can expand and crack it.
Oh, no.
And then you've got leaks and repairs.
Got it. So we've balanced the chemistry and we've lowered the water level. What's next?
Now it's time for a good cleaning.
Okay.
You want to brush the walls, vacuum the floor, skim the surface to remove any leaves, debris, anything like that.
So basically a spa day for the pool before its long winter nap.
Pretty much. And a clean pool is less likely to develop problems over the winter.
Makes sense.
After you've cleaned it, it's really important to drain the pool equipment.
The pump, filter, heater,
All of it. Anything that holds water.
and I'm guessing this is where we address those frozen pipes.
You got it. Any water left in the equipment could freeze, expand, and cause some serious damage.
So we really want to make sure every drop of water is out of there.
Exactly. It's one of the most common and costly mistakes people make.
Okay, so we've drained all the equipment. What about the pool water that's still left in the pool? Anything we need to do with that?
Yes. You want to add a winterizing chemical kit to the water?
A winterizing chemical kit. What's in that?
It's a blend of chemicals designed to prevent algae growth and keep the water clear over the winter.
Right.
They also help prevent staining and scaling that can happen when the water just sits there for months.
So it's like a protective shield for the off-season.
Exactly. Helps keep the water in good shape so you can open your pool up to crystal clear water in the spring.
Okay, so the final step then is covering the pool.
Right. And that helps to prevent debris from falling in and protects the water from the elements.
Okay, so just to recap, we balanced the chemistry, lowered the water level, cleaned the pool, drained the equipment, added those protective chemicals, and covered it up.
You got it. Those are the essential steps.
It sounds more involved than I thought.
Yeah.
But I guess taking these steps can save a lot of headaches down the road.
Absolutely. It might seem like a lot of work up front,
Yeah.
but it's all about preventative maintenance.
Right.
Trust me, it's way easier and less expensive to properly winterize your pool than to deal with the damage and repairs later.
Okay, well said. And you mentioned earlier that there are some common pitfalls people should watch out for during winterizing.
Yeah.
What are some things to be extra careful about?
One of the biggest mistakes is not draining all the equipment properly.
Ah,
right? Like I said,
yeah.
every single drop of water needs to be removed.
Okay.
You can use a shop vac or compressed air to blow out any remaining water in the lines.
Right, because even that tiny bit of water can cause those burst pipes.
Exactly. Another common mistake is using the wrong winterizing chemicals.
Oh, right. So,
Right.
like, there were different types.
Yeah, make sure you choose a kit that's specifically made for your pool type and climate.
Oh, so, like, if you have a saltwater pool,
Exactly. You'll need a different kit than someone with a traditional chlorine pool.
so reading the labels and doing your research is key.
Absolutely. And don't neglect the pool cover.
The pool cover, right?
Make sure it's securely fastened, no tears or holes.
Because a damaged cover could let debris in or let water evaporate.
Exactly. It defeats the whole purpose of winterizing.
Right. Okay. Those are some great tips. Any other advice for pool owners prepping for winter?
Well, one crucial piece of advice is to inspect your pool equipment regularly throughout the year.
Okay.
That way you can catch any potential problems early on.
So don't just wait till the end of the season to give everything a once-over.
Exactly. Regular maintenance is key to preventing those end-of-season surprises.
So what are some key things to look out for during these inspections?
Pay close attention to the pump, check for any leaks, unusual noises, things like that.
Okay.
Inspect the filter for any cracks or damage,
Got it.
and make sure the heater is functioning properly.
So we're basically being proactive to prevent problems.
Exactly. A little preventative maintenance throughout the year can really go a long way.
And if you do notice any issues during those inspections, it's best to address them right away.
Absolutely. Don't procrastinate on those repairs.
Right.
It's always better to be proactive.
Okay, good advice. Now, you've mentioned this before, but I think it's worth repeating. Keeping a pool log is a really smart move.
It really is. A pool log is a simple but powerful tool.
Okay.
It helps you keep track of all your maintenance, chemical levels, any repairs or issues you encounter throughout the year.
This is like a journal for your pool.
Exactly. It can help you identify any potential issues before they become big problems.
Right.
And it's incredibly helpful when it's time to winterize.
Yeah.
Because you have a record of all your maintenance and chemical adjustments, which can make the whole process a lot smoother.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this part of our deep dive. We've explored the steps of winterizing, common pitfalls to avoid, the importance of regular inspections, and the wisdom of keeping a detailed pool log.
We've covered a lot, but it's all about protecting your investment.
Well said. We'll be back for the third and final part of our deep dive, where we'll explore some advanced pool protection techniques and answer any remaining questions you might have. Welcome back. We're ready for the final part of our deep dive into getting our pools ready for winter.
Exactly. We've covered the basics,
Right.
insulation, the steps for winterizing.
And those common mistakes to avoid.
Now we can dive into some more advanced techniques.
Ooh, advanced techniques. I like it.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff are we talking about?
Well, one technique that's becoming more and more popular is using an automatic pool cover.
Automatic. Tell me more.
Basically, with the push of a button, your pool's covered.
Easy peasy.
It adds an extra layer of protection from leaves, debris, even snow.
So you don't have to wrestle with those heavy tarps anymore.
Exactly, and you don't have to worry about any gaps or tears.
So it's like a super high-tech shield for your pool.
Right, and another great thing about them is they significantly reduce evaporation.
Oh, so you're saving water.
Yep, you're using fewer chemicals too, and it helps keep the water temperature more stable.
Okay, I see the appeal, but I'm guessing these automatic covers are probably more expensive than just the regular tarp.
They do cost more upfront, that's true,
Right.
but you're saving on water and chemicals, and in the long run, it might actually even out.
True, and it's safer too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They can help prevent accidental falls into the pool.
Okay, safety is always a top priority. What other advanced techniques should pool owners be thinking about?
Another good option, especially if you live in an area with harsh winters, is a pool freeze protection system.
Okay, what is that?
It uses sensors to keep an eye on the water temperature,
Okay.
and if the temperature drops below a certain point, it'll automatically turn on your pump.
So it's like a built-in safety net to protect against freezing.
Exactly. Gives you peace of mind knowing your pool is protected even when you're not around.
Okay, so that's a good one. Any other advanced techniques you want to highlight?
Well, if you have a saltwater pool, there are some specific things you need to do to winterize it that are a little bit different from a traditional chlorine pool.
Right, saltwater systems, they have their own set of needs.
Exactly. So before you shut everything down for the season, you'll need to adjust the salt level
Right.
and run the system for a certain amount of time to make sure everything's sanitized and the equipment is protected.
So basically, you want to consult your saltwater systems manual to get those specific instructions.
Absolutely. And speaking of manuals,
Yeah.
let's emphasize this again. Don't underestimate those pool equipment manuals.
Right.
They're a goldmine of information.
Right.
They have specific instructions for maintenance, winterizing, everything.
It's amazing how much useful information is packed into those things.
They can save you a lot of trouble and money.
Right, exactly. They can be lifesavers.
Troubleshooting tips, preventative measures, detailed instructions, they can really help you avoid making those costly mistakes.
Good advice. We've been really focused on the pool itself. But what about the areas around the pool? What about the decks, patios, landscaping, anything we need to do to protect those from the winter weather?
That's a great point. It's easy to forget about those areas.
Right.
So if you've got potted plants or outdoor furniture,
Uh-huh.
you might want to bring those inside or cover them up to protect them from the snow and ice.
Yeah, and wind damage too.
Right. And if you have a wooden deck, you should apply a sealant to protect it from moisture.
Because those wooden decks can really take a beating during the winter.
Oh, absolutely. And don't forget about those leaves. If you have trees near the pool, make sure to rake them up.
Right.
Because when they decompose, they can make your deck slippery and they can even stain the surface.
So it's not just about prepping the pool itself, it's about the whole area around it.
Exactly. Makes it safer and much more enjoyable when spring rolls around.
Okay, great tips. So in this final part of our deep dive, we talked about advanced techniques, things to keep in mind for saltwater systems, the importance of those manuals.
And protecting the area around your pool.
Right, so much good information. I feel like I've learned so much about how to protect a pool for the winter.
I'm glad. Hopefully you're feeling more confident about tackling all that prep work.
Definitely. And to our listeners, remember, protecting your pool is an investment. It's about being able to enjoy it for years to come. Take the time to prep it for winter, and when spring arrives, you'll be ready to dive right in. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.